Ask yourself this: what words are you feeding your soul every morning? Because whether you realize it or not, you are in constant conversation with yourself. And that inner voice will either lift you to greatness or chain you to mediocrity. Every champion you admire, every leader who inspires you, began their journey not with applause from the crowd, but with words they told themselves in silence. What you tell yourself every day is not just talk, it's construction. Every word you speak into your own life is a brick, and over time those bricks build the walls of your mindset, the ceiling of your possibilities, and the foundation of your actions. Words are never empty. They carry weight, they carry energy, and they carry direction. If you wake up each morning telling yourself that you are not enough, that you are not capable, that life is stacked against you, then without realizing it, you are digging a trench for your own defeat. But if you choose instead to say, I can do this, I will grow, I was made for more, you are laying down a road that leads to strength and achievement. The truth is simple: what you repeatedly declare to yourself, you eventually believe. And what you believe, you live out. Think about how children grow up. A child told that they are smart, strong, and capable learns to carry themselves with confidence, while a child constantly told they are worthless shrinks inside, even if the world sees potential in them. That same principle never stops operating in our adult lives. The voice you hear most is not the critic's voice outside, but the whisper inside. And if that inner voice is poisoned with doubt, fear, and negativity, it will sabotage you before you even step into the arena. But if that inner voice is disciplined to speak faith, courage, and persistence, then even when the world shouts against you, you'll still move forward. Words shape reality because they are seeds. Plant negativity, and your actions will produce weeds of hesitation and excuses. Plant positivity, and your actions will bear fruit in confidence and resilience. When you say, I can't, your mind begins looking for reasons to prove you right. When you say, I can, your mind searches for solutions and strength to make it possible. It's not magic, it's alignment. Your words train your brain where to focus. They sharpen your attention, and soon enough, you begin to live out the script you've been reciting. There is power in recognizing that life will always echo what you speak. Speak limitation, and your life echoes back smallness. Speak possibility, and your life echoes back opportunities. When you tell yourself you are stuck, you stop moving. When you tell yourself you're learning, you open the door to growth. Even in failure, the words you use matter. Say, I failed because I'm not good enough, and you bury yourself in shame. Say, I failed because I'm still learning, and suddenly failure becomes a teacher, not a grave. Great men and women of history carried this secret. They weren't shielded from struggle, but they trained themselves to declare words that pushed them through. When they felt weak, they said, I am strong. When they faced mountains, they said, this too shall pass. Their words were not blind denial of reality, but bold declarations of faith in what reality could become. Words did not erase the challenge, but they gave them courage to face it. And here's the truth you must carry. You can't always control what others say about you, but you can always control what you say to yourself. People will doubt you. Circumstances will discourage you. But the loudest, most consistent voice in your life is your own. Make sure it is building you, not breaking you. Let it remind you daily that you are worthy of respect, capable of change, and destined for growth. Start today. Look in the mirror and tell yourself who you are becoming. Speak strength when you feel weakness, courage when you feel fear, persistence when you feel like giving up. Train your inner voice to serve your destiny, not sabotage it. Because your words are not just noise. They're instructions to your future. They are the script your life will follow. And if you dare to speak faith, perseverance, and vision, one day you'll look back and realize your words built the reality you now live in. Daily affirmations are not just feel good quotes or catchy lines you repeat without thought. They are deliberate, intentional truths you speak to yourself until they carve new pathways in your mind. Discipline is not born in a moment of hype or temporary motivation. It is born in the quiet, repeated reminders you give yourself every single day. When you stand in front of the mirror and declare who you are and who you are becoming, you are training your inner world to align with your future. You are programming your thoughts, which eventually govern your choices, and your choices shape your destiny. Affirmations build discipline because they reinforce your commitment daily, turning your values into habits and your habits into a lifestyle. Think about how easily the mind drifts toward distraction. Without consistent reminders, you forget who you are, what you stand for, and what you're working toward. Every day you are bombarded with negativity from the world around you, criticism, doubts, temptations to quit, and voices that tell you to take the easy way out. Affirmations are your counterattack. They are the guardrails that keep you on course when the road tries to pull you off track. When you wake up tired, the words you tell yourself decide whether you roll over or rise up. When you feel overwhelmed, the affirmations you've planted decide whether you crumble or push through. Discipline is not willpower alone. It is the muscle built by rehearsing truths that direct your will even when you don't feel like it. Repeated truths are like weights in a gym. At first, they feel small, almost meaningless, but over time, the repetition builds strength you didn't know you had. Telling yourself, I am consistent, I am focused, I am resilient, might sound simple, but as those words echo daily, they take root. Soon, when distraction comes, your automatic response is not weakness, but focus. When adversity comes, your default is not giving up, but standing strong. You don't need to hype yourself up with emotion every day. You need to train yourself with repetition until the truth becomes instinct. That is what affirmations do. They shift your mindset from temporary feelings to consistent action. Discipline is forged in routine, and affirmations are the anchor of that routine. Imagine an athlete who tells himself every morning, I train because champions are built in the dark. That daily declaration fuels the discipline to show up to practice, even when no one is watching. Imagine a student who tells herself, I learn every day because my future is worth it. That repetition helps her stay at the desk when friends choose distractions. Words repeated with intention remind you of your why. And when you remember your why, your discipline strengthens. Without affirmations, discipline feels like punishment. With affirmations, discipline feels like purpose. You may think affirmations are too simple to work, but simplicity is their power. Complexity is often the enemy of consistency. You don't need a long speech every morning. You need short, powerful truths that you repeat until they become your inner compass. Over time, these truths outshout the lies of laziness and the whispers of doubt. They give you backbone when excuses try to take over. You begin to act not because you feel like it, but because your inner dialogue has trained you to. That is discipline at its core, doing what needs to be done whether or not you feel like it. Tell yourself daily, I will not quit. I am building myself. I am stronger than my excuses. At first, it feels like words. Over weeks and months, it becomes reality. You will look back and realize that those daily affirmations built a steady rhythm of action in your life. They became the sparks that lit the fire of consistency. They created a voice inside that is louder than temptation, sharper than distraction, and stronger than fear. And when you live like that, you discover that discipline is not a struggle anymore. It's who you are. Every day you wake up, there is a battle already waiting for you. Not outside, but inside. The battlefield is in your mind, and the weapons are the words you choose to believe. Negative voices come in many forms. Sometimes it's the echo of past failures. Sometimes it's the criticism of people who never saw your potential. And sometimes it's your own doubts whispering that you are not enough. Left unchecked, those voices grow louder until they paralyze you, convincing you to shrink when you should rise, to quit when you should persevere. But here is the truth. You cannot silence negative voices by wishing them away. You silence them by replacing them with words of courage. Positive self-talk is not denial of reality. It is declaration of a greater reality, the reality of your potential, your strength, and your worth. When you choose to speak courage into your life, you shift the balance of power. Instead of allowing fear to dictate your choices, you remind yourself that fear is only a feeling, not a master. For every voice that says, you can't, you learn to answer, watch me. For every whisper that says, you're too weak, you respond, I am stronger than this moment. Positive self-talk beats negative voices because it interrupts the cycle of defeat before it takes root. It trains your brain to recognize that doubt is not a verdict, it's just noise. And noise can be drowned out by a stronger sound, your own affirmations of courage. Think about it. How many dreams have died because someone believed the wrong voice? How many times have you stopped yourself because you replayed your mistakes louder than your progress? Negative voices will always try to anchor you to the past, reminding you of the times you stumbled. But positive self-talk lifts your eyes to the future, reminding you of who you can become. The difference between the two is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of hope. One voice says, "Stay down." The other says, "Get up and try again." The one you choose to listen to decides the outcome of your life. Positive self-talk also builds resilience. When you face setbacks, and you will, it is not enough to simply endure. You must encourage yourself through the storm. Tell yourself, "This challenge is shaping me," and suddenly the obstacle becomes training ground. Tell yourself, "I will not break here," and you discover strength you didn't know you had. Your words don't make the problem disappear, but they give you the courage to push through until the problem bows to your persistence. Science itself shows that what you repeat becomes what you believe. The human brain is wired to follow patterns, and when you consistently declare courage, your mind rewires itself to expect victory instead of defeat. Over time, your self-talk transforms your outlook, and your outlook shapes your actions. People with positive inner voices don't live without problems. They simply face problems with a different spirit. Where others see walls, they see doors waiting to be opened. Where others see the end, they see a beginning. That shift comes from choosing to replace doubt with courage. You must also remember that courage is not about never feeling fear. It is about speaking truth louder than fear. When you tell yourself, "I am capable, I am prepared, I am worthy," you may still feel nervous, but you have given yourself permission to act in spite of it. An action in the face of fear is what courage really is. Negative voices will always try to slow you down, but your own voice can speed you up if you learn to use it. So from this day forward, pay attention to your inner conversation. When doubt whispers, answer back. When fear rises, declare courage. When weakness speaks, call out your strength. Don't let the loudest voice in your life be the one that breaks you. Make it the one that builds you. Because the world outside can only hurt you if the voice inside agrees with it. But when your inner voice is filled with courage, no outside voice can stop you. Positive self-talk beats negative voices every single time, and it is the difference between a life chained by fear and a life set free by boldness. Clarity is not something that simply appears out of nowhere. It is something that is cultivated, strengthened, and sharpened over time. The truth is, most people are not lost because they have no dreams. They are lost because their dreams are blurry, scattered, and drowned out by distractions. This is why repetition matters so much. The more you declare who you are, the more you declare where you're going, the more your heart, mind, and actions align to that vision. Clarity comes when repetition chisels away the noise and doubt until all that remains is a clear picture of your purpose. Think of repetition like striking a bell. One strike makes a sound, but if you strike it again and again, the sound grows louder, it carries farther, and soon everyone can hear it. Your words work the same way in your life. Declaring once that you are strong or capable might encourage you for the moment, but declaring it every day creates a lasting conviction. With each repetition, the truth digs deeper into your spirit. With each declaration, confusion loses ground. Repetition sharpens focus because it reminds you daily of who you are becoming and keeps you moving toward that identity. Life is full of distractions that try to blur your vision. You set a goal, but doubts creep in. You start a new habit, but temptations pull you off track. You dream of growth, but the noise of negativity makes you forget your direction. Repetition is the anchor that keeps you steady in the storm. Every time you repeat your truth, "I am disciplined, I am resilient, I am called to greater things," you are recentering yourself like resetting a compass back to north. Without it, you drift. With it, you stay on course. Clarity is also built because repetition creates familiarity. When you repeat a declaration often enough, your mind begins to treat it as fact. Just as hearing a lie over and over makes people believe it, hearing the truth about yourself over and over convinces you it is real. I am focused. I know my purpose. I will not be distracted. These words, spoken daily, program your mind to operate with conviction instead of confusion. Soon, decisions that once felt hard become easier because you've trained your inner voice to point you in the right direction. Consider athletes and performers who repeat affirmations before they step onto the field or stage. Their repetition isn't empty ritual, it is mental conditioning. By declaring who they are and what they will do, they bring their focus to razor sharpness. The same applies to life. If you want clarity about your career, your relationships, or your goals, start by declaring them daily. This is who I am becoming, this is where I'm going. Eventually, you will notice that your actions naturally align with the words you've repeated. The fog begins to lift, and the path ahead becomes visible. Repetition also weeds out doubt. The first time you declare, I am capable, doubt will shout back, no, you're not. But if you keep declaring it every day, the voice of doubt weakens while your confidence strengthens. Soon, your focus is no longer blurred by conflicting voices. It is sharp, precise, and unstoppable. You become clear not because life got easier, because your commitment to your declaration became stronger. The mind is like a lens. Without focus, everything is blurry. Repetition is the hand that adjusts the lens until what once looked confusing now looks crystal clear. The more you declare who you are, the sharper that lens becomes. And when you see clearly, you act with precision. Instead of stumbling in 10 different directions, you move powerfully in one. So never underestimate the power of repeating the truth. Say it until you believe it. Say it until you live it. Say it until clarity pushes out confusion and focus replaces hesitation. Because clarity through repetition is not just about words. It's about building a mind that refuses to be scattered. It is about creating focus so sharp that nothing can blur your vision again. And when you live with that kind of clarity, your direction is certain, your energy is purposeful, and your future is unstoppable. Success is often pictured as trophies, titles, money, or recognition, but in truth, it begins long before any of those appear. Real success starts inside with identity. If you do not know who you are, if you do not remind yourself of your worth, your purpose, and your responsibility every single day, then even when success shows up, you will not be ready to handle it. Identity is the foundation, and everything else is built on top of it. Without a strong identity, success becomes fragile. With a strong identity, success becomes sustainable. Reminding yourself of your worth is the first step. Life will constantly try to reduce you to your failures, your mistakes, or the opinions of others. If you accept that definition, you will live beneath your potential. But when you start your day declaring, I am worthy, I am valuable, I matter, you protect yourself from the lies that try to strip away your confidence. Worth is not based on what you accomplish. Worth is something you carry by existing, by being created with purpose. When you know your worth, you stop settling for less. You stop tolerating environments or relationships that devalue you. Instead, you rise to the level of the truth you've spoken over yourself. Purpose is the next anchor of identity. Success without purpose is empty. Many people chase achievements and find themselves still hungry, still unfulfilled, because they never connected their success to something greater. Reminding yourself daily, I have a purpose, my life is designed for impact, my steps are ordered, gives direction to your journey. Purpose answers the question of why you're striving in the first place. Without it, you may climb the ladder only to discover it is leaning against the wrong wall. But when purpose leads, success becomes meaningful. It is no longer about proving yourself to the world, but about fulfilling the assignment within you. Responsibility is what keeps worth and purpose grounded. Identity is not only about what you receive, it is about what you give. When you tell yourself daily, I am responsible for my choices, I am responsible for my growth, I am responsible for my influence, you step into maturity. Success is not just about enjoying blessings, but about stewarding them well. People who rise without responsibility often fall just as quickly. But those who remind themselves of the weight of their influence build legacies that outlast them. Responsibility is the bridge between knowing who you are and living it out. When identity comes first, success follows naturally. If you know your worth, you will walk with confidence. If you know your purpose, you will walk with direction. If you know your responsibility, you will walk with integrity. These three together create the kind of foundation that no setback can destroy and no criticism can shake. And because success is not a destination but a journey, you need these reminders daily. They keep you grounded when you're tempted to drift. And they keep you humble when success begins to shine on you. Think about it. How many people achieve fame, wealth, or recognition only to collapse under the weight of it? The missing piece is always identity. Without reminding themselves who they are, they let circumstances define them. But those who root themselves in daily affirmations of worth, purpose, and responsibility never lose themselves in success. Instead, they use success to amplify their identity rather than replace it. So each day, begin with identity. Before you chase results, remind yourself of who you are. Before you measure outcomes, remember your worth. Before you chase opportunities, remember your purpose. And before you enjoy victories, remember your responsibility. Because identity before success is the only way to build a life that is not only successful in the eyes of the world, but fulfilled in the depths of your soul. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in life, yet it is often underestimated. Success is not built on one great day of effort or a single moment of inspiration. It is built on the quiet, steady rhythm of showing up every day. What you tell yourself consistently shapes what you believe, and what you believe directs how you act. This is why consistency wins. It creates momentum forward, driving energy that grows stronger with every repetition. When you choose to tell yourself the right things daily, words of discipline, courage, focus, and worth, you are building a current so strong that no challenge can stop it. Momentum doesn't appear overnight. At the beginning, it feels slow, even frustrating. You repeat affirmations, you take small steps, and it seems like nothing is changing. But consistency is like pushing a heavy wheel. At first, it barely moves, but push it again and it rolls a little farther. Push it again, and it goes farther still. Eventually, it begins to move on its own faster and faster, until stopping it becomes harder than keeping it going. That is the power of consistency. Every declaration you make, every positive word you speak over yourself is another push, another rotation of the wheel. Over time, the momentum becomes unstoppable. Challenges will come, and they will try to slow you down. But when consistency has built momentum, those challenges become bumps in the road rather than dead ends. You may stumble, but momentum carries you forward. Without consistency, obstacles knock you back to the starting line. With consistency, obstacles are simply part of the journey. The daily practice of telling yourself the right things strengthens your resilience so that setbacks no longer define you. They refine you. Consider how athletes train. They do not rely on one day of practice or one motivational speech before a big game. They build momentum through consistency, showing up every morning, running drills, rehearsing plays, and repeating affirmations of strength and victory. By the time they step onto the field, they are not wondering whether they can win. Their daily consistency has already convinced them they will. Life works the same way. If you feed your mind the right truths every day, when pressure comes, your default is strength. You won't crumble under stress because your momentum is stronger than your moment of weakness. Consistency also creates trust with yourself. Every time you tell yourself something and follow through, you are building credibility within your own mind. You begin to trust your own voice. When you say, "I will push through," and you do, your confidence grows. When you say, "I will not quit," and you keep going, your identity shifts. You stop being someone who hopes to be strong and start becoming someone who knows they are strong. That internal trust is the foundation of unstoppable momentum. Momentum fueled by consistency also compounds. The effects of your daily words and actions don't just add up, they multiply. One day of positive self-talk may lift your mood. 10 days may shift your perspective. 100 days may completely transform your identity. And once your identity is transformed, your habits follow, your decisions align, and your life changes in ways that feel exponential. Challenges may still come, but momentum makes them feel smaller because your inner strength has grown larger. The truth is, Anyone can speak positive words once in a while. Anyone can find motivation for a few days. But very few choose to stay consistent. That's why very few experience the unstoppable momentum that consistency creates. Consistency is not glamorous, it is often boring, repetitive, and unrecognized. Yet it is in that very repetition where greatness is born. By telling yourself the right things daily, you are planting seeds that grow into unshakable confidence, unstoppable drive, and undeniable results. So keep speaking life into yourself, even when it feels slow. Keep repeating the truths of who you are and where you are going, even when doubts try to shout louder. Because every day you stay consistent, you are building momentum. And once that momentum takes over, no challenge, no setback, no obstacle will be able to stop you. Consistency wins, not because it is flashy, because it is faithful. And faithful repetition will always lead to unstoppable transformation. It's not the world outside that shapes your destiny. It's the voice inside. Every morning, you are either repeating doubt or declaring courage, either feeding fear or strengthening faith. And that choice, made daily, builds the future you will live in. When you remind yourself of your worth, you silence the lies that say you are not enough. When you declare your purpose, you stop wandering and start walking in direction. When you claim responsibility, you take control of your growth and your influence. And when you choose discipline, clarity, and consistency, you are creating momentum that no challenge can stop. Success, identity, courage, and focus don't just happen. They are built one word, one affirmation, one declaration at a time. The words you speak today are the seeds of the life you will see tomorrow. So tell yourself the right things, not once, not sometimes, but every single day. Because when your inner voice becomes your greatest ally, there is no obstacle, no critic, no storm strong enough to silence you. Your destiny is waiting, and your words are the key. Speak life, speak truth, speak victory. Because what you tell yourself every day is exactly who you will become.